here, and welcome to your second week in studying algebra. Hopefully you're not finding it too unfriendly. We're going to talk a little bit more about using rules today, and I just wanted to remind you that algebra is really the aspect of mathematics that is describing the relationship between two numbers or two variables and using rules to explain this number. And that sounds complicated, but it doesn't have to be that complicated. Okay, so one of the main concepts is it's looking at this relationship between two variables. Variable means something that can change. Okay, and often this relationship means that if one thing changes, the other thing changes. Okay, now that sounds a bit complex, but if you think about the what's my rule stuff we've been doing, the in number changes, then the out number changes. So that's all that means. Okay. All right, so let's just look at a simple example. Okay, if Caitlin has a pack of chips, and we'll call that pack of chips P, because we don't know how many chips are in that pack. And if the number of students who are going to share the chips is S, and C is the number of chippies they actually get, then you could do the formula like this. The packet of chips, you're going to divide it by the number of students, and that's how many chips they'll get. I know that seems like, why would you do that? But the idea then is you're describing the relationship, and then if she gets 2 packets of chips, you can just change the formula to calculate it. Okay? So that's the basic idea, and it doesn't have to be P or S or C. You know, you could actually describe that relationship by showing us a pack of chips. And then, you know, students, you could do a picture of student, and then you could do, you know, that's a crinkle cut one right there. Okay? The idea is that we're using these letters, but it could really be anything to symbolize the relationship between these numbers. Okay? I hope that makes sense. All right, so we're going to start with some flowcharts. Don't be intimidated by flowcharts. They're actually just trying to lead you to writing the formulas. So let's look at this one. Alexander buys T meters of wood at $3 a meter. So I've written this flowchart. You've got T here. That's how many meters of wood. Then you're going to multiply it by 3, and you end up with 3T. Okay? So that's describing that story. All right, so let's break it down a little bit more. How are we using our rules? Well, I've written one of these in and out charts, very much like the ones we've been using in class. And as you can see, when you put 1 in, 3 comes out. When you put 2 in, 4 comes out. When you put 3 in, 5 comes out. It's a pretty simple rule. I think you can probably work out that the rule here is to get y, you add 2 to x. Okay, so what are we going to do in our flowchart? We've got x here, and what are we doing? We're adding 2 to get y. Okay, so it's just another way to write that same formula. And if you're a person who just needs to break it down into little steps, particularly if you're a visual learner, this flowchart might be very helpful for you in starting you to write the formula. Okay. So hopefully you're feeling pretty confident about using rules and embarking on the adventure that is algebra. And good luck.